This is my screencast for my Edmodo project. I made my Edmodo project pretending that I had a flipped classroom or a hybrid classroom. I was going to use this for my third grade students at the end of third grade, so that way during the year my students can learn the skills to be independent and how to work the websites to be successful. Currently, when we view my Edmodo at the end of this screencast, it's going to be locked. Well, I'm sorry, no, it's going to be open. And I did it that way so that way you can see how the students are going to view everything. It's going to not look like a game, but when we get there, I'm going to explain more into detail about how I expect my students to do it and how it would look for them. So it would be too time consuming if I left it open like a game, because I would have to submit the homework and then I'd have to check it, go through the grade book, and then open the next level. So that's why I just left it open. So before I get further more into my Edmodo, I'm going to talk about what inspired me to make my Edmodo project the way I did. The first thing that inspired me was Gradecraft, and instead of me explaining how wonderful and awesome it is and what it is, I found this video on YouTube on the University of Michigan website that explains better than what I could how Gradecraft works. So we're just going to watch just a short video, and then I'll explain a little bit more in depth how I took some of these elements and ideas and applied them to my Edmodo classroom.
It can be a little intimidating on the first day when the professor says you need 1,000,000 points in this class to get an A. Here's all the ways you can get them.
I was both excited, shocked, and I just didn't really know what to think to a certain degree. It's like, wait, so does that mean I'm not getting a grade on each of these assignments? How do I know how well I'm doing?
I was used to coming into a class, being told what to do, and following those rules. Here you really have to take your own initiative.
You may have a range of choices in a gameful course, and that can feel a little bit scary at first. But once you get past that, you feel more empowered, more in control of what's going on, and you know at many more steps how you're doing and what you need to do next in order to accomplish your goals.
There are a number of tracks you can take through this course. There's optional assignments. There's assignments you have to complete to unlock other assignments, and all of this is kind of explained to you in this learning management system that was really cool.
Yeah, the Grade Predictor was a really interesting tool as part of Gradecraft. I actually went on there and started playing around and trying to see which assignments I thought I might like to do and how that would end up at the end of the semester. And I think I actually spent more time on Gradecraft than on C-Tools last semester just because it was more interesting and it was more interactive.
There are many things to keep track of, and it's important that not only we keep track of them, but the students can clearly see that we have kept track of what they've done so that a student can feel continuous progress.
Because I knew that no matter like what happened, I could always work hard to get a good grade, I was a lot more open to these new concepts that I did not have as strong of a background in, instead of being like, I have to know this, this, and this for a test or for an assignment or for a grade.
When they're doing work that they've chosen to do, that they really are excited and pleased about, they pursue it much more intensely. They do better work. We hope, too, that they will develop a sense that the real excitement of learning doesn't come from doing the assignments that are on the syllabus. It comes from asking your own questions and going on and pursuing those questions.
Okay, so that's a little bit about Gradecraft. It was made by Barry Fishman. He was in the video in the purple shirt, and it is at the University of Michigan. So I took the elements from him of where I let my students choose their assignments that they get to do, but they're still related to the assignment. So the assignment's about dogs, they're not going to go and do an assignment about cats. But there's different ways that they can do the assignment. I also took his idea of where the students need to do certain projects or assignments to unlock the next level. And level means your next set of work to do. So I took that element too. And I also took the competition element for my Edmodo, and I put my students in teams, and I'm going to make them verse each other in order to go on to the next level. My next slide will talk a little bit more about the gamification. So I took this Edmodo and I turned it into a Gradecraft using gamification. And as I said, the work is the missions or the levels of the game. The students get to choose what they want to do. This will inspire them to do their homework and classwork because they cannot go on to the next level or mission without doing the past homework or reading the assignments or watching the YouTube video or whatever they have to do as their assignment. And I also put them in teams where the team can't go on if not everybody in the group did the work. And the teams are going to depend on each other because one team member will have something that another team member doesn't. And they'll have group discussions and private discussion boards where they can post this information. So that way they'll have to work together as a team. As you saw in the video, they talked about badges. Here are the badges that are for my Edmodo. And the students use these badges to earn rewards for things, such as maybe an extra study guide for the test, or maybe during the test they can phone a friend for a question. Just something silly, but it all has to be work related. I'm not giving them candy or games or something or buying them stuff. It's stuff that's going to help support their education to make them successful. So they earn these badges spontaneously. I'm not going to give them a badge for doing their work. That's what's expected of them. They earn more work for doing their work. Don't tell them that. But that's what they're going to do. They earn things that they need to go on in their level. So those are examples, like I said, of my badges that my students will earn. And it just engages them to do their work. So I created my Edmodo account for my 3rd grade students for one of our science topic, Light's Path. We do this at the end. I use the gamification to help enhance the teaching and learning of our science unit. The idea of gamification came from GradeCraft and an article called 7 Things You Should Know About Gamification. I have also took that where it talked about how to encourage our students to do their work and why students should do work and how there are actually colleges playing games or turning the course into a game and how the students loved it. So that's what I wanted to do because I want that engagement in my classroom. Like as I said, using gamification will encourage them to do their homework and classwork. Lesson plan is about a 2-week unit about the path of light. I'm using Edmodo like a blackboard, so this is where the students will go on, and I'll show you all this at the end of the screencast, where they'll go on, they'll read their assignments, they'll pick polls for when they can come to do tests or when they can meet as a group. They'll view their discussion boards, private, whole class. They can ask questions to me, their group, certain students. So I just did it to promote group work and collaboration skills and also promoting scientific method. As I said, GradeCraft was the inspiration, also the 7 things you should know about gamification. I'm using So Creative as the assessment website. It's not where the pre and post tests are. This is just a fun way for students to compete against each other in what they call Space Race. Space Race is where I design a test and my students will meet as a group and they sign into an iPad or desktop computer or laptop or whatever. And on their desktop, on the top part where like your web camera is, it will give them like a green line of whatever color team they are. And the students will answer the questions, and on the overhead projector, I can display the space race. And every time the student gets a question right, the little rocket moves forward and they can see their progress, and whoever gets to the finish line first is obviously the winner. And I talk and show you a little bit that also at the end as well. There's other media that I used. I use YouTube instead of just everything being boring paper, books, and pencils. I have where they can watch YouTube videos like Bill Nye about what we're doing. I use Audacity because when I first made this, I didn't know what screencasting was. Now I do. And I tell the students what I expect them to do. Now that I know how to screencast, I put some screencasts in there so that way they can actually watch how to turn in their work and how to do what they need to do. But you don't have to use the websites or anything that I'm using. You can probably make this with other learning management systems. This was just, I loved Edmodo, and this is what popped into my head. So the teacher's skills and knowledge, the teacher must know how to work all these websites, and they must be able to teach them, no matter what websites they choose. They need to be knowledgeable about gamification in the classroom. They must install in their students how to be good teammates, and they need for their students to understand that their team depends on them. They cannot go on to the next level or the mission without their other teammates. So everybody needs to pull their weight and work. And also teaching them how to respond to answers non-verbally. They have to know how to do it just typing, which is a big difference from face-to-face conversation. Prior knowledge and skills for the students. The students need to know basics of the computer, how to log in, how to use the mouse, how to type. That's very important. They also need to know about how to use the website. They need to know about how to navigate and submit work on Edmodo. They need to know about features of Edmodo. They need to know how to use Audacity to listen to their instructions or screencasts. Some students don't have technology at home, so what we think is easy, they may not know, such as how to watch a YouTube video. So it's important that the teacher teaches that to them as well. Students are going to need to make their own videos, or I allow them to choose whatever they want besides paper and pencil. And they have to show me that they're doing the experiments. They'll have 3 experiments that we normally do in class, but I'm going to make them do it at home, and I'll give them the material. And they have to submit the video of them doing the work for me to see. So that's something different that they need to know how to do. If they choose that, I left it open for them to pick. So hyperlinking the video of them doing their work, that's important as well. So students are going to produce a video. Some students just like to put all 3 experiments in one video. There are students that like to do 3 separate videos for 3 separate experiments, using the 3 experiments at home to show the path of light. One experiment is they're going to take a flashlight and they're going to bang chalk erasers that have chalk on them to show, and the flashlight will be turned on, to show the path of light. They'll use water and a prism to see what happens when they put those in front of the flashlight. They have to do a lab sheet write-up for the scientific method for each experiment. Every day that they do the science experiment, I do tell them what their problem is, but they have to write their own hypothesis or hypotheses. And then as they're doing the experiment, they need to record their observations, write a reflection, and then we'll meet as a group on the following day, which is Thursday, and they'll discuss their findings with their experiment, and then they'll talk about as a group how and what they want to do for their final experiment, where I'm letting them make their own experiment, showing that they understand the lesson from this whole unit, which is light's path. There's a lot of group and collaboration skills. They have to use the discussion board and post. They'll have private chat rooms to talk to see what they're doing. Pre and post tests are given, pre on Monday, post on Friday. And as I said, so Crave will be a Thursday test where students can see what they understand and what they need before the test. And this is also where they earn little goodies like study guides or extra points on a test or something to get them ready for the test the following day. Procedures. The teachers need to teach and model to their students the basic skills needed to work a computer. The students need to be taught and be proficient in using technologies. They need to make sure they know how to do this on their computers, because this will be done at home unless the teacher plans on doing this in the classroom, but I made this for at home. The students need to know where the folders are. The folder is where their work will be for each day. They need to follow the directions. I remember in a class we did, like, I guess you can call them like a screencast or maybe an interaction group, kind of like a Skype, and he would have a secret code somewhere in these lectures, and he wouldn't put them in the beginning or the end, just randomly, so that way the student had to watch pretty much the whole video to get the secret code, and they had to type them in. I was thinking about doing that, so that way I know that the students are watching and listening to the directions for the week. That will help ease some of the problems. And then the students need to go through the chapter, the path of light. They'll have their book with a study guide. I'm also going to encourage them on Monday to find some helpful links and share that with the class and post it on the discussion board for everybody to see. As I said, on Tuesday, the students will start their lab sheet write-up, which I will send, and on the Tuesday folder, it tells them this is your problem, you need to write a hypothesis, here's an example of a hypothesis. On Wednesday, students will start doing the experiments for the week, so that's when they need to record the experiments if they choose. If they don't, they'll do whatever medium they have approved through me. And then they'll finish writing up their lab sheet. On Thursday, they'll meet as a group in their private discussion board to talk about their answers to the lab sheet, any questions they have, anything they need, and I'll be in there to monitor them. And on Friday, everything is due. The students will take the final test, and they'll submit the experiment demonstrating the path of light. So I know that they understand the lesson. So I just have everything showing me what my students know and what they're understanding. Remember, to go from Tuesday to Wednesday, they have to turn in their lab sheet, or they have to have, I always give them like a mini assignment or something that I know that they're doing the work and that way I'll open up Wednesday's folder. If they don't turn in anything on Tuesday, then I'm not opening up Wednesday's folder for them. And their team is going to have to talk about, well, why can't we go on? Because somebody didn't do the work. So they need to work as a team to make sure we're all on track and support each other. The advantages and disadvantages. Advantages is it's engaging. The students are definitely going to love it because it's like a game. I use these websites separately in my classroom, and my students just love them because it's so fun. It builds teamwork and collaboration skills. These are things that they're going to need to do in the future, so it's important that they do them and learn them now. It's motivating. They're going to want to do the work to go on to the next level, and they want to be a good teammate. So, and then as I said, they get to see their progress because, excuse me, they'll earn badges. It makes them independent, which is important because, as you know, as an educator, we're not going with every single student from kindergarten all the way on forever with them every single day, so they have to learn how to do some things on their own. Disadvantage, making this is time consuming and it's a lot of effort and it's really hard, especially sometimes your brain kind of wanders off and wants you to do all these different things. So it's a lot of effort and you have to make sure you have a good narrow focus. The students need to be proficient and independent. That's a big one because it's not easy to make every student proficient with everything and independent, but it is okay to still support them if they need help. And then some of these things will be helpful if they have parent support at home. They're going to need maybe mom or dad or whoever takes care of them to help them with different websites and different things. And as we know, some students don't always have support at home. And especially students need to have technology at home, internet. And I know I heard today parents say they don't have internet at home. So not everybody has the ability to do this assignment. That's why I said like a hybrid class. These kids already knew signing up for a hybrid class that they were going to need the internet. So effective instructional strategies. Most important is modeling. This is not going to be a face-to-face experiment, so the students need to know what to do for the assignment and how to do it. Demonstration is also important, same reason they need to know what they're doing, what it looks like, what I expect. It's impossible for you just to tell somebody what to do and for them to get 100%. It's a lot better to show and explain it to them. Clear directions. Since this is going to be done at home, it's important that everything's clear. As I said, use Audacity, use screencasts, use YouTube to help answer any lingering questions because you know the students will have questions for everything. Support with technology. As I said, Murphy's Law comes in when it comes to kids and technology. Every single day, every single time, something's going to go wrong. They're going to have a question. So make sure there's a lot of support for them. Communication as a teacher. Just don't sit back and relax. Communicate with them as much as possible. Let them know that you're seeing that they're doing a good job. That's why I think the badges are important to just spontaneously give to the students. That way they know you can see their progress. And when you open up the next set of assignments, maybe leave a comment saying, I have your work, or awesome job turning it in earlier. Just something to let them know that you're watching them. So that way they don't feel that they can goof off. We want to make sure that they're working and staying on track. Transferable. I said slim to none making this transferable to teacher. As I said, I just made it too complex and too much work, and I'm using too many different websites. This works for me, but it's because I'm here in school and I'm learning. Not every teacher is like me, and my whole work doesn't come here. So that's why I said it's different. I don't really know everybody's computer skills at work. So that's why I said slim to none. It is very capable of being transferred to another subject. It's just thinking of it as the teacher that made this, would I really want to do it for another subject? Currently, no. I'm kind of burnt out, but you know, maybe one day I might get energies. But it is possible to transfer it. It's best for older students because this is kind of what some of the colleges are doing. And it has a lot of the college skill level, like I said, like a Blackboard, discussion board, group work. We all do that here in a master's class, and I know I did it in undergrad classes. So this is a great way for seniors to do this. The good news is GradeCraft eventually will be open for teachers at some point. I just emailed last week, and they said no, it's still in a beta. But when GradeCraft comes out, it will make this so much easier. But this is what I did for now, and I love it. Will I ever use it? That's a great question. I don't know. I may try it this year. I've tried, as I said, Edmodo, and so creative separately, but I've never put them together. So maybe this year I might do a beta on this and see. But this is my best idea, and I like it, and I think it's a good, useful, purposeful technology. So that's my wonderful screencast, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed making this, and have a great day. This is my Edmodo that I made, influenced by Gradecraft and 7 Things You Should Know About Gamification. Currently, I am in the teacher view. I cannot access any of my students' accounts because I deleted some of them because they're no longer in my class. It's summertime. The only real big difference between teacher account and a student account is where it says library. On my student's account, it says backpack. And there's some elements that I have that they do not have, which it's not really that big of a deal. So when my students sign up for their Edmodo, they go onto the Edmodo website, they sign in. I have them have their own accounts instead of just doing like a group account. So when my students sign in, this is their home screen. They all see something that looks like this. They have this little dashboard here, and this is where students can type notes, meaning they can communicate with the whole class. So they can write a note on maybe they forgot the assignment for a week. So they could say, can somebody help me? I forgot the assignment. Down here, they can choose who they want to help them. Maybe they want just me to see it, or maybe their group, or they have just one friend. They can just send it to them, and it will go to their email. They have assignments. Theirs does not look like this. They can't post assignments, only I can. But if we look further down the wall, like this is the quiz that I have, this is where their assignment will be. It'll tell them when it is due, and then they can click to turn it in, and then also to view it and access it. So when my students come on every day, they will have kind of like an announcement I'll send out every morning, and if they did the work the day before, I will go ahead and open the next set of assignments for them. If not, probably within an hour of class starting, I'll go ahead and send a note to the certain students so I can just type their names in and just say, I'm not opening this next set of work because I'm missing your work. And I'm sure their group mates will already be emailing them saying, we are not going on to the next level because you didn't do your work. But I won't email their classmates and say, you know, Team B, blue boy did not do his homework, you know, please yell at him or something. I'm not doing that. That's not what that is. Nobody will know who it is that didn't do their work. When they sign into where it says groups, they can just click on their private group for their discussion board or their private chat. Every day when they come in after they check the wall for messages and stuff, they'll go to their backpack. I'm on teacher view yet again. Mine says library. They'll click on it. They won't have this. This is teacher view still. They'll go to the folder, and I have folders that say they were in order. Mine's not in order, but theirs is. Where it'll start off with the introduction, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So clicking on Monday starts off. I have everything in order that they have to do. Every folder starts off with a Audacity recording of me telling them what I want to do for the day. So just to prove to you that I really did do this, we'll listen to a short 10 seconds of it.
Hi class, and welcome to week 2 in our light science unit. This week we are going to be exploring the path of light. This is going to be a short overview of the week.
Okay, so I tell them what to do for the week and where to go and where to find it. After they listen to the little introduction, they'll click on the next step. And this one right here will tell them what I want them to do. So they can read the full post. I also wrote out what I want them to do as well. This is, like I said, this is the introduction folder. So on Monday, I have them watching a Bill Nye video. As I said, when they watch it, I want them to send me a message, let me know something that they learned, so I know that they did watch the video. I did this just to, you know, embrace what they learned in their textbook to give it some support. Some people learn better reading, some people need video, so they're pretty close to each other. I'm having them do a poll so that way I know what day they can space race and what time. As I said before, if you notice, these are times kids would be in school. That's why we're pretending this is like a hybrid class. This also helps me support who to put in what team, because obviously if they can't meet on the same day, they won't be able to do their space race, and they need each other for their space race. And then finally, they also have the Monday pre-test quiz where they can go ahead, take the quiz, turn it in, and it gets emailed to me. Whenever they turn something in, of course, I'm not going to view it and grade it right there and then. I'm not that fast with grading, but it will allow me to go ahead and open up the next set of folders for them to do. So as I said, this is open. It won't look like this for the students. They'll just have the introductions like their freebie, and then when they start turning in these assignments, the next day when they come in, it will be their Tuesday folder where they'll have an introduction screencast is what I need to add, Audacity for them to listen to. After they do that, they move on to the work where here's a lab sheet they'll have to do, write up, as you see I told them, here's your problem, you need to do this. And then as I said, write this on a Word doc and send it to me, which my students will learn how to send that to me. And then they go on from there of things that I want them to do. So that's how I want my Edmodo to be used. I already put my students in groups, that's why it says it over here. And like I said, each group is going to depend on each other for what they need to do. Next, I'm going to go ahead and show you the video of So Creative. I currently do not have a class using it because it's summer. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the website. Teacher just types it in like normal. And then the teacher will go ahead and log in. And I'm already saved login. This is the room code that the students need for when they're going to do the space race, which is over here. So beforehand, the teacher goes ahead and makes a space race quiz. I have my Path of Light hair quiz, and then you pick the number of teams. So I think I have 5 teams for mine. And the teams, I already have them assigned, so I don't really need that. I'm just going to go this way. And then we're going to do space race. We're going to keep it with a rocket, but you can go ahead and pick whatever you want. My students always like the crazy different things. And then you can hit start. I already have one going on, but this is like the screen that they see. When the students use this code and log in on like their iPad or desktop or whatever, they will also get the questions, and then you can just broadcast this for all the other students to see. And the students are going to work together as a group. They still have to use the Edmodo, still needs to be up, so they should tab them just like mine. And in their group, only one person I'm going to give this code to for their group, so that way the other ones can watch. But in their group, they'll go down to their group chat room and they'll discuss their answers for the quiz. And then when they submit the answers, you'll start seeing the little rocket ship move every time they get it right. Although I'm going to let you know a secret, I don't tell my students that it moves if it gets the question right. They don't know why or how it makes them move. So, I don't want them to be discouraged. I still want them to do all the questions, because if I tell them it moves because they get the question right, and then if they see somebody's the winner, they'll give up. So I don't tell them that. So keep that secret between us. But that's what I do for my students, and they just love to watch the race, and they have a lot of fun with it. So, and then, I can go ahead and get the reports and see what they did, and I can email that or download it and go on from there. So that's pretty much what I want my students to do. I'm not using this as a pre or post, I'm just using this as a fun competition. Probably how I would screencast this or videocast this, since it's going to be at home, just like a Skype or Google Hangout. I could put a tripod on my iPad here, or I heard at my job we just got the swivel, so I could use that too for my iPad and just broadcast it through like a Google Hangout for everybody to see how they're moving. So there's lots of options, but I'm just using it for them to earn their secret little badges and stuff. Oh, I probably should show you the badges too. So I have my badges. Let me load here. So as you can see, I already have my badge that I made for my class, and I gave it to myself because I did a good job. And I have teacher badges too that Edmodo gives me, and it makes me feel important. So that's why I like to do badges, and I feel like my students need that as well. So that's how I want my students to use Edmodo and So Creative, and a few other technologies you saw in there as well. I hope you like my idea, and I hope it maybe makes it a little bit clearer what I plan on doing. Thanks.